Your brand already has a personality, even if you don't know it yet. The real question is it the right one? Just like people, brands give off certain vibes. Some feel friendly and inviting, while others are bold and rebellious. Some may even feel like they're full of wisdom. And trust me, this isn't random. It's all about brand archetypes. Today, as I work on a crochet piece, we're going to unravel how brand archetypes shape your business personality, build trust, and attract the right customers. So grab your yarn or your coffee and let's stitch this together. What are brand archetypes? Brand archetypes are like character templates for businesses. Think of them as the personality your brand naturally embodies, whether that's bold and adventurous or warm and nurturing. This concept comes from the psychologist Carl Jung, who believed that certain personality types exist in our collective unconscious. You already recognize them in myths, movies, and even your favorite brands. When you use an archetype intentionally, your brand feels natural and consistent. But when businesses don't define their archetype, their messaging can become scattered and confusing, which pushes their customers away. A strong brand personality can help you create emotional connections, build trust and familiarity, and stand out in a crowded market. Remember, a strong brand personality equals connection plus trust plus recognition. How many archetypes should a brand have? Now, here's something important. Most successful brands don't just use one archetype. Instead, they blend about 2 to 3 to create unique personalities that feel well-rounded. Your primary archetype defines the core of your brand, while the secondary archetype adds depth and flexibility. Any more than 3, things tend to get messy, and your messaging starts to lose clarity. For example, Apple is primarily a magician brand, which prioritizes innovation and transformation, but it also has traits of the creator archetype, which emphasizes design and originality. The 12 brand archetypes. Alright, let's break down the 12 brand archetypes and how they shape a brand's identity. Starting off, we have the innocent. The innocent is categorized as optimistic, pure, and all about simplicity. Think about this brand as someone who wants to escape the world and its complexities and create a simple paradise. Brands that associate with the innocent type tend to be Dove, Coca-Cola, and even McDonald's. Next up, it's the explorer. They are known to be adventurous, independent, and freedom-seeking. They're prioritizing a self-journey and self-identity above all. Brands that associate with this archetype tend to be Jeep and National Geographic. We then have the sage. The sage is known to be wise, knowledgeable, and always seeking the truth. Brands that categorize themselves as sages tend to prioritize education and wanting to understand the world around them. Google and Harvard are a great example of sage brands. The hero archetype is determined, courageous, and inspiring. They're all about pushing themselves beyond the limits and encouraging people to become the best version of themselves. Nike and Adidas are great examples of this. We have the outlaw, also known to be the rebel. They are bold rule breakers that like to challenge the status quo. They're not concerned about falling in line, and they want to be loud and proud. Harley Davidson and Red Bull are great examples of this brand. The magician. The magician is about being a visionary, transformative, and inspiring change. The magician and outlaw can sometimes work well together, but they're mainly categorized as wanting to become masters of their own reality. They're more concerned about changing their own self versus changing the world. Great brands that kind of associate with magicians tend to be Apple and Disney. Disney is especially a really strong magician archetype. Next up is the everyman. This archetype is approachable, friendly, and relatable. The everyman is more concerned about treating everyone equally and kind of being more so like your best friend or your next door neighbor. IKEA and Levi is also very good examples of this archetype. Then we have the lover. The lover is categorized as passionate, intimate, and relationship focused. The lover is all about building connections, which can be even about friendships or just in terms of wanting to associate themselves in a community. Victoria's Secret and Chanel tend to go well with the lover archetype because they're all about the pleasures of life. The jester. The jester is really fun and entertaining and also, of course, full of humor. The great part about a jester archetype is that they're able to tackle more taboo conversations or topics by using humor to connect or bridge that gap between audience members. M&M's and Old Spice are great examples with advertisement. If you check online about old advertisements for Old Spice, they just have a collective of great senses of humor in order to connect with their audience. We have the caregiver. The caregiver is all about compassion, nurturing, and protectiveness. Johnson & Johnson, as well as Valvio, are great examples of this. The caregiver tends to be kind of like the matriarch side of the ruler archetype, which we'll get into in a moment, but they tend to be associated with nonprofits as well. Then we have the ruler archetype. The ruler archetype tends to be associated with power and control, wanting to create stability and security in the world around them. These are a lot associated with luxury brands like Mercedes-Benz or Rolex. You can also kind of associate it with a sense of like old money or old prestige. So it's really fun and interesting to be able to create brands around the ruler archetype. Lastly, we have the creator, which is, of course, your artists. They're innovators, and they're more concerned about being self-expressive rather than being part of a community. Adobe and Lego are great examples of this type of brand. They really want you to go out and play and experiment in the world around you and challenge old systems and to create new ones. Many brands will blend 2 or more archetypes for depth, but one should always remain dominant to maintain consistency. A good example is Nike tends to blend the hero image along with the ruler. So the hero image comes from the inspiring determination to push yourself and become the best version, while the ruler image is the dominance in the athletic industry. Disney will always combine the magician and creator archetypes because it's all about transformation, imagination, and storytelling. How to identify your brand archetype. So how do you find your brand's archetype? Here are 3 key areas that you should consider exploring. There is your brand personality. Why did you start your business? What emotions do you want your business to invoke in your audience members? There is your customer persona, which is what challenges do your customers face and how do they view your brand? And then finally, you have competitor analysis, which is what archetypes are common in your industry and where can you stand out? So all 3 of these categories are really important to deep dive in, especially your competitor analysis. A lot of times it helps to understand what brand archetypes are dominating your type of industry so that you can see what areas you can leverage. A good example of this is that if you are a graphic designer who is wanting to start a freelance agency, the creative archetype is just a natural archetype that comes with being an artist. And a lot of times we just naturally want to invoke those brand personality traits. But if you're going to stand out, you need to consider what a secondary brand archetype that you can use to leverage against your competitors. Are your competitors using humor? So are they funny creators using the gesture? Are they more of the everyman approach? Are they trying to get clients through being more approachable and more down to earth? Or maybe they are the rebellious creator who's out here breaking the rules and looking for the crowd that wants to go against the grain. Starting with competitor analysis can sometimes give us a good lead into what archetypes that we should align ourselves with. Of course, your customer personas also have a huge influence on how you should be presenting yourself in the market. Understanding your customers and their pain points, along with the values that they share, are going to give you big clues on what you can align yourself with as well. Brand personality is just something that you have to fill out for yourself as a business owner. Really just by asking, what emotions do you want people to feel about your brand? If it involves more of excitement, if it involves more about feeling like they have gained some sort of wisdom or truth from it, that's going to be vastly different from wanting to feel very adventurous and freedom-seeking, or wanting to feel less overwhelmed about the sheer amount of choices that they have out in the world. Your archetype should always feel natural and not forced. The goal is to create a recognizable, authentic brand experience that aligns with your audience expectations. So whatever brand archetypes that you are going to align your business with, make sure that it's something that you naturally fit into, and you're also are going to find that your audience naturally falls into as well. Each character model is going to have their own expectations that you're going to have to fulfill in order to maintain the story world that you are building. Brand archetypes aren't just labels, they're tools for building trust, shaping perception, and creating a lasting impact. Whether you're an inspiring hero, a bold outlaw, or a nurturing caregiver, embracing your archetype will help refine your messaging, connect with the right audience, and build a brand that stands the test of time. But if you're still unsure which archetype fits your brand, I can help. At Spunky Psyche, I specialize in branding strategies that amplify your strengths and give your business a clear and compelling identity. Book a consultation today and let's unlock your brand's true potential. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What archetype do you think fits your brand the best? Let's chat.